Good morning students. I, Monica Singla, your business studies teacher, welcomes you all in this class of business studies. Today's topic of discussion is Principles of Management, Unit 2. So first of all, I will discuss with you what do you mean by Principles of Management. Principles of Management are broad and general guidelines for decision making and behavior of managers. So what do you mean by these principles of management? Student, these are the guidelines for decision making of the managers. These principles of management guide managers while taking their decisions. And these principles of management guide managers that what should be their behavior while handling different situations of the business. Now, let's move to different principles of management. There are 14 principles of management given by our management expert Henry Fayol. We will start with the first principle, that is principle of division of work. According to this principle, entire work of the organization should be divided into different small tasks. What I am saying, entire work of the organization should be divided into different small tasks, and each small task should be assigned to different persons. When every person will perform one task again and again, he will be specialist in that very task, and benefit of specialization will go to the organization. Now what are the benefits of specialization? Benefits of specialization are when a person is doing the same task again and again, his efficiency increases and he will be able to give more output in less time with less resources. This is called as benefit of specialization. This is clear to you? Again I am telling you what do you mean by division of work. This principle says that entire work of the organization should be divided into different small tasks, and each small task should be assigned to different persons according to their capabilities, according to their skills. And when they will do the same task again and again, they will be expert in such task. And they will be expert, they will be specialist, and benefit of specialization will go to the organization. This is the first principle. I think this is clear to you. Now move to the second principle. Second principle is principle of authority and responsibility. Authority means rights to give orders to the subordinates, rights or powers of the superiors to give orders to the subordinates. Superiors means here seniors, boss, and subordinates means employees. So authority means rights of the superior to give order to subordinates. And responsibility. Responsibility means obligation or duty of the subordinate to obey the order. Duty of the subordinate to obey the order given by the superior. So this principle of authority and responsibility says that authority and responsibility should go hand in hand. It means if someone is given some responsibility, some task to do, then that person should also be given authorities related to that responsibility. What I am saying, if someone is given any responsibility, then he should be given authorities also related to that responsibility. Otherwise, he will not be able to complete his responsibility, or you can say his task. For example, suppose a worker is given a task of production of 100 units in a day. A worker is given a task of production of 100 units in a day. This is his responsibility. He has to do. But he is not given authority to take tools and raw materials from the storeroom. He is not given that right to take raw material from the storeroom. Then what he has to do? Again and again he has to go to production manager for taking permission. Can I take raw material from the storeroom? Can I take tools from the storeroom? In this way his time will be wasted and he will not be able to produce 100 units in a day. That's why he should be given authorities also. You are given responsibility of production of 100 unit. Now you are given authorities also. You can take raw material or whatever you require for production from the storeroom. Then he will be able to complete his responsibility. One thing more I want to tell you here, that there should be a balance between authority and responsibility. More authorities than responsibilities should not be given. If more authorities are given, that will be dangerous. Employees can misutilize their authorities if more authorities are given than requirement. And if less authorities are given, then they will not be able to complete their responsibility. So, there should be a balance between authority and responsibility. So, this is your second principle of authority and responsibility. Now, move to the next principle, that is principle of discipline. According to the principle of discipline, rules and regulations of the organization should be followed by everyone. These rules and regulations should be followed by everyone, subordinates as well as superiors. These are not meant only for subordinates. Rules and regulations are must for subordinates as well as superior also. Everyone must follow the rules and regulations of the organization. As well as there should be clear and fair agreements in the organization. There should not be any fraudulent activity. Clear and fair agreements and judicious application of the penalties. What I told you, proper following of the rules and regulation. Second, fair and clear agreement. Third, judicious application of penalties. This is said by the principle of discipline. Clear? Now move to the next principle. Principle of unity of command. Principle of unity of command, very interesting, very important. This principle says that one employee should receive order from one boss at one time. And he should be accountable to that very boss only at that very time. What this principle says? This principle says that one employee should receive order from one boss at one time. And he is accountable. Accountable means answerable to that very boss only. Because if one employee will receive order from more than one bosses, then he will be confused that whose order he has to fulfill first. He will be confused and he will not be able to satisfy all the bosses at one time. In this way, then the boss whose order is not followed by the employee, that boss will be disappointed and a feeling of jealousy will come among such bosses whose order is not followed by the employee. So, according to this principle, one employee should receive order from one boss at one time and he should be answerable to that very boss at that time. In this way, there will be discipline also in the organization and every activity will be completed on time. Now, move to next principle. Next is unity of direction. This principle says that there should be one head for one plan in the organization. For one plan, for one group of activities, one boss should be assigned only. There should not be more than one bosses for one group of activities. If there will be more bosses for one group of activities, then there will be confusion in the organization. There will be duplication of the activities in the organization. Take an example. Suppose in an organization, motorbike as well as car, two products are produced. Then there should be two divisions for these two products. One division for motorbike and second division for the car. And two separate bosses will be appointed. One for motorbike division and one for car division. And they will manage their divisions separately. Then there will be discipline and all activities will be completed on time and resources will not be wasted and there will not be duplication of efforts. Every boss is managing their own department only here. So this is the principle of unity of direction, that there should be one head for one plan, you can say, or for one group of activities. So clear to you? Now one more principle, that is subordination of individual interest to general interest. So subordination of individual interest to general interest. What is the meaning of individual here? Individual means here employee, and general interest means organization interest. Individual interest means employee interest and general interest means organization interest. So this principle says that employees should give more importance to the organization objective rather than their personal objective. What I am saying, employees should give more importance to the organization objective rather than their personal objective. Because if organization objective will be achieved, their personal objective will automatically be achieved. Take an example. Suppose Rahul is a production manager in a company and Rahul is a purchase manager in a company and he has to purchase raw material for the production department in the organization. His son deals in the raw material supply. Then what Rahul has done? He has purchased raw material from his son at high price and supplied to the organization. So what he has done? He has violated this principle of subordination of individual interest to general interest because he thought about his personal benefit. He didn't think about the benefit of the organization. He has purchased raw material at high price. This is against the benefit of the organization. So this should not be done. We should follow the principle of subordination of individual interest to general interest. We should not think about our personal benefit. We should think about the benefit of the organization. If our organization is getting benefit, profits are increasing, then we will get benefit in the form of bonus, increment, etc. So principle of subordination of individual interest to general interest should be followed. Move to the principle remuneration of the employees. Principle of remuneration. According to this principle, employees should be given fair remuneration. Fair word is connected to employees as well as to the organization both. How? See, I am saying fair remuneration should be given to employees. It means that employees should be given at least that amount of remuneration so that they can have a reasonable standard of living. Employees should be given at least that amount of remuneration so that they can have a reasonable standard of living. And what is the meaning of fair word to the organization? It means that organization should give that much remuneration to the employees which is according to the paying capacity of the organization. If organization is having higher profits, then high wages, high salaries should be given to employees. And if organization is having less profits, then less wages or salaries should be given to the employees. So according to paying capacity of the organization, wages, bonus, salaries should be given to the employees. So this is the principle of fair remuneration. So students, today we have discussed so many principles. So I want to revise the principle once again which we have discussed today. Start from the first principle, that is principle of division of work. This principle says that entire work should be divided into small tasks and each small task should be assigned to different person and they will do the task again and again and they will be expert in that very task. That will be beneficial to the organization. Second, we have discussed about the authority and responsibility, that if any employee any responsibility is given, then he or she equal authorities, rights should also be given. Then only he can complete his task. Third is discipline, that there should be complete discipline. Rules and regulations should be followed by everyone, subordinates as well as superiors. Next, we have discussed about unity of command, that every employee should receive order from one boss at one time. Next, we have discussed about unity of direction, that there should be one head for one plan. For one type of activities, there should be only one head, not more heads. Then, we have discussed about subordination of individual interest to general interest, that employees should give more importance to their organization objective rather than their personal objective. Last, we have discussed about principles of fair remuneration, that employees should be given fair remuneration by the organization. So class, today's topic is going to be over here. In the next class, I will discuss the remaining principles with you and I will send you notes based on these principles to you as well as assignments, and you have to solve the assignments. In next class, I will discuss assignments questions also with you. Thank you class. Have a nice day.